show you my toys.
Hey everybody, this is D Hunter bringing another action figure review. Today we're looking at the McFarlane Toys Stranger Things Chief Hopper and 11 figures. These are from the upcoming Season 3, which airs next month. So we've already gotten a Chief Hopper already in his police outfit. This one here is in his civilian attire or vacation attire. And this is the third 11 figure we've gotten. So let's check out the packaging here. As you can see, these guys are on kind of throwback cards, which is pretty cool for a show like Stranger Things, which takes place in the 80s and feeds heavily on nostalgia. Pretty cool card back to be using. So let's check out the packaging here. As you can see, here's the cast of Stranger Things. Stranger Things here, ages 12 plus. Even the logo for McFarlane Toys is different than usual. Normally they have the sort of Spawn logo there. Chief Hopper, Netflix show. You can see he comes with walkie-talkie, bottle of wine. I see a stand back there, an alternate hand to hold the walkie-talkie, and his pistol. And you can see 11 here. She comes with two different alternate hands, some sort of a shopping bag it looks like, and a walkie-talkie, and the stand back there. So let's check out the back of the package. You can see the entire wave here. It's just these two figures so far. Stranger Things. You can see we've got a barcode here, a bunch of credits there, as none of that stuff would fit on the bottom. So with no further ado, let's open these guys up, see how they compare with their previous releases and the rest of the Stranger Things line. Alright, well now they got these figures out of the package. Here they are with all their accessories laid out. Looks like they come with a stand each. Hopper has a pistol, a bottle of wine, walkie-talkie radio, and an alternate hand totaling 3 hands. And it looks like 11 here has got 2 alternate hands totaling 4 hands, a walkie, and a shopping bag. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's check out the actual figures. So 11 here, kind of a flashy dress. It definitely has sort of 80s vibe to it. Her face sculpt looks pretty good. She's finally getting longer hair as Season 3 is now hit. Dress nice, little sort of thing I'm thinking for like a dance, little party. Socks pretty high up. Tennis shoes, overall, looking pretty decent. We've got Hopper here. Now his face here, it's a little rough, a little sort of blocky. Paint's not perfect either. Mustache, some stubble there, a little bit of a head injury or wound here. Shirt, kind of like a vacation type shirt, definitely off duty. You can see he's got blue jeans here. I absolutely hate the way this crotch area looks. Just don't think they executed that very well. Blue jeans, some shoes. Looking okay at best, I'd say. A little belly on this guy. So let's take a look at their accessories. To start off with the action figure stand. They come with 2 of these, 1 each. It's transparent, got 1 sort of peg on it. Stranger Things, every single figure in the line has come with this so far. But me personally, I'm not much of a stand guy, so these are going to go into a huge box of stands, presumably never to be used again. So let's go ahead and check out 11's accessories. We'll start off with her hands. She's got 2 alternate hands. One of them here can probably hold the radio when it's open. Another one here is small and she doesn't come with anything besides the radio and the shopping bag, so it's probably used to hold the shopping bag. We'll check those out in just a second. And then here are all 4 of her hands. 2 of them here in the center are kind of opened up, and then the other 2 have functionality with her accessories. And then here she is with her open hands at her side. And they can also be in front of her in sort of an action-like pose. And then here she is with her other 2 hands that are going to allow her to hold her accessories. These 2 will probably be my default hands. I must say that one thing I do not like is I hate the way they use the walkie, that peg hole. I mean, sure, it works, but it just looks hideous. I really feel like I want to cut that thing off and still use this as her default hand. This one here, not too bad. I'll be able to grab something a little smaller. And then here are her other 2 accessories. This walkie-talkie that we've got so many times in the Stranger Things line. You can see it's got a little hole in the back for the peg to go into. And then this shopping bag here. and it says Starcourt Mall. And then here she is holding her walkie. You can see the peg on her hand inside the hole, allows her to hold the walkie. Does seem pretty large compared to her. Funny thing is, you can pretty much use her other hand and stick her thumb in the hole to pretty much get the same effect. Not have that really ugly peg on the hand, and kind of works out kind of decent. And then here she is holding the shopping bag. Looks crazy flat from this angle. You can see here, it's got the mall logo. The other side's got a star. And then here is Eleven's shopping bag compared to a couple of other shopping bags I have in my action figure collection. Boy, there's a big size difference here. I think these ones came with some Diamond Select Mallrats figures. And honestly, they're pretty much the same scale of action figures, both 7-inch scale. Just kind of interesting. So next, let's check out Hopper's accessories. He has a revolver, bottle of wine, a walkie-talkie, and an alternate hand. So here are his two left hands. His right hand, he only has one of them, so it stays on. It is a trigger sort of hand. I tried to pull it off, didn't try very hard, didn't come off as easily as this one, so I just left it alone. And he's got these two left hands. One of them here has the peg, and it obviously is intended for his walkie. Then another one here sort of looks like it could hold something. It's very slightly open, but he only comes with the bottle of wine, and maybe I can grip that, we'll see in a second. But honestly, it's just going to look a lot less bad than the stupid peg hole. Well, here he is with his walkie hand sort of extended. The peg hole on it could presumably hold the walkie, but mine is some kind of factory error. It's defective. It just simply does not stay on at all. I can push it all the way through this extremely small peg area, but it just does not grip in there at all. It's almost like it's stripped. And here is what it would look like if the hand was able to stay attached to the figure. Obviously, it'd be kind of like this. Pathetic. I guess 11 can make up for it by just holding both the walkies. It's a good thing that I absolutely hate that pegged hand the way it looks, and that I usually give these walkies to my Gotham City Police Department anyway. Next, let's check out his bottle of wine. If you look at it up close, it says Ab and Zab Burke Chardonnay. And yes, he can hold it with his alternate left hand, but he can also hold it with his right hand just as easily. And then let's check out his revolver. I imagine this is a straight up re-release from the Police Hopper version. Looks decent. It's got the trigger, silver barrel, black handle. Beyond that, really not a whole lot of additional detail. And then here he is holding his revolver, pointing it in front of him. He can have his arm extended as well. He can have it up in the side by his head. Overall, it's a decent weapon. Not that extraordinary, though. And then here's the newer Chief Hopper's revolver and the original one. I do notice the sculpt looks very similar and the same, but the handle's a different color, which I found kind of interesting. And it's almost like the material they made him out of is totally different. You can see Season 3 Hopper, very soft, very bendy. And then original Hopper, not quite so much. It's very hard to even get to do that much. Now that we've taken a pretty in-depth look at the accessories, next let's check out the height of this figure, see how well they're going to fit in with some of the rest of the figures in my action figure collection. These guys are going to be some great civilians in my action figure world. So these are McFarlane toys. They're traditionally the 7-inch scale, which means a 6-foot tall person would be about 7 inches. So Hopper here looks like he's sitting at pretty much 7 inches even. And then 11 here looks like she's just a hair under 6¼ inches. Next, let's check out these guys' articulation. and I must say, it's kind of poor. McFarlane Toys has always been a company that sort of traditionally had weak articulation. They made almost statuesque figures. Todd McFarlane himself would always say that he thought that articulation messed up the aesthetic and broke the sculpt of the figure, but he's definitely come around. The Fortnite line they have out going right now is crazy articulated. You can achieve any pose by any figure you can possibly imagine. I saw an interview with McFarlane where he mentioned he always thought articulation didn't help the way the figure looked, but he's realizing that popular opinion is the alternative. Must be a completely different team working on these line than's working on the Fortnite line. And those figures only cost a few dollars more than these guys. These guys are $20 and the Fortnite ones are $25. And the $5 difference gets you a whole lot there. So let's check these guys' articulation out. Starting with Hopper here. His head, of course, it can go around. Can tilt a little from side to side. Can look down about that far and up about that far. It's a ball joint. I mean, it's a decent range of motion on here. His shoulders go out a little less than 90 degrees. Real tight, you can hear that noise. Up and down. Kind of not super impressive there. His elbow, got a swivel here. And then it goes in and out, in and out. I mean, these are an upgrade to McFarlane's Color Tops figures. Very similar articulation the Walking Dead figures are using now. His wrist, of course, is hinged and swiveled both. Then he's got traditional waist articulation, no ball joint, no ab crunch, nothing like that. His legs go out a lot further than I personally would have expected. Go forward, really not much at all, and back, not at all. Knees, single jointed, about 90 degrees. They do have a swivel up top as well. His feet, they can go around just a tiny little bit. They can tilt just a tiny little bit. And up and down just a tiny little bit as well. Then 11 here, head goes around, looks down about that far, up just a normal position. The hair here obstructs it from going back any further. Shoulders out, not 90 degrees, up of course. Single jointed elbow with a swivel, hinge and swivel on the wrist, and it's actually a pretty extreme amount that it's hinged. Waist articulation in the middle here, and it is on some a little bit more than just like a ball joint. Can go up and down a tiny bit, move around a little bit there. Legs can't go out at all. They go forward about that far. Skirt definitely obstructing that, and back really not too much either. Single joint knees with a swivel above. Feet looks like must be a ball joint in there. Then go around, up and down, and they tilt a little bit as well. A lot better than the original 11. I remember how horrible her feet and legs were. Next, let's check out these figures compared to other action figures. We'll start off by checking them out with the rest of the McFarlane Fortnite collection, and then we'll check them out as possible civilians, how they would look with several different action figure lines in case you're planning to blend them, to see how they fit in both scale and style-wise. Let's go ahead and start with Hopper. The Season 1 release of Hopper was arguably my favorite Stranger Things figures. I am absolutely addicted to police officer action figures and army building, so I was really happy when they released him. I was a little bit disappointed with the execution and end result. This particular Hopper here, he's going to be a great civilian, just regular guy, maybe sitting in a bar, although it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get this action figure to any sitting poses. And then here's the Season 3 Hopper next to the Season 1 Hopper. Much prefer this one myself just because he has so many different uses in my action figure world. Originally this one here was supposed to come with two different alternate heads, but McFarlane cheaped out and didn't give us that. I don't believe this is the same sculpt as the other head. I was looking at a picture of it the other day, but it's possible. I would actually kind of like to head swap these guys, but this guy's joint is a little bit screwed up from what I tried to do with him before, so I'm probably going to leave that be for now. So as you can see, their face sculpts definitely different. And I guess you could say this is the 5th Hopper figure that I've purchased. I got 4 of the Season 1 Hoppers to make some police officers. I bought the first 3 myself and head swapped them. Some heads that I thought were appropriate for some old school sort of country cops. And then the 4th one here, I bought that one on eBay. I saw it on there. It was repainted blue, sort of a modern police officer color, and it was pretty cheap, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And then, of course, we've got the Season 3 new Hopper figure. And then here's 11 next to her other 11 action figure counterparts. Really, really liking these figures for what they are. Articulation is just god-awful in the Season 1 version, and she might be more 11-ish with her hair off and her short hair, but I use most of these as civilians or children or younger teenagers in my action figure world. Great for so many different circumstances. Horror pictures, kidnapping ransoms, school class sessions, etc., etc. And then here she is with the core group of kids from the show. And then here they are next to my entire McFarlane Stranger Things collection. It's getting pretty large at this point, and I sure don't think the line is over. There is one Dustin and Dart 2-pack that was shown a long time ago and never actually seemed to make it out. We may still get that too. And then here's my entire Stranger Things collection. Of course, I got numerous hoppers for some police officers in my Batman world, and I got a couple of Demogorgons because, frankly, they're just awesome. And then here's this Season 3 11 next to all the children and teenager action figures in my action figure collection, minus, of course, a couple of Damian Wayne Robins. These are figures from Stranger Things, Heroes, Aliens, Pan's Labyrinth, Hunger Games, Spawn, Ghostbusters, Halloween, Walking Dead, X-Men, Harry Potter, Gotham, and A Christmas Story. Next, let's check them out compared to some other action figure lines to see how they fit in. Here they are next to some other McFarlane Toy brothers. These are 4 different McFarlane Toys lines next to the Stranger Things lines. They fit in together pretty nice scale-wise. And then here they are next to 4 different DST or Diamond Select Toys action figure lines. And then here they are next to some NECA figures from various lines. And then here they are next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And then here they are next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft good figures. And then here they are next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And then here they are next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And then here they are next to some Mafex figures. And then here they are next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends figures. And then here they are next to some SH Figure Arts figures. So overall, these are okay figures. Not the greatest, but pretty cool for civilians. So for my use, they're pretty nice. McFarlane did a great job getting these Season 3 figures out just before the season aired. Fantastic distribution and timing. Really good job there. If I were to rate these figures, I'd probably give them something like a 5.5 out of 10 for 11 and maybe a 6 out of 10 for Hopper. They're just really not that great. The sculpt is clunky. Paint job it's actually pretty good on them. The just design is just kind of like eh. The whole Stranger Things line, I like it a lot because I absolutely love civilians and it enhances my action figure collection greatly. But they could have been handled a lot better. I sure hope the DC license that McFarlane is doing is going to be more like the Fortnite figures and less like the Walking Dead and Stranger Things figures. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it in the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate it. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you guys real soon.